Hello and welcome to Ryno's Ravens preview. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Very tough loss against a AFC West opponent last Thursday. Now on to another AFC West opponent Sunday, tomorrow, facing the Las Vegas Raiders. Good news for Ravens fans, it's a home opener. Yay! As you can see, I'm on BaltimoreRavens.com. Let's get to the injury report. Adisa Isaac on here again with his hamstring injury, though it's fairly reasonable to keep expecting this for at least the next 2 weeks. Hamstrings are a bit tricky. They really are a time thing. There's not a whole lot you can do to speed up the injury. It just happens when it happens, really. Limited participant Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Game status is doubtful. So that's about a 25% chance that he'll play. Which, let me move the keyboard here. Get that out of the way. Which, I don't know. I mean, if he's a limited participant, he probably could give you 5 snaps at pass rush. Is that something we want to do? Could that risk damaging the hamstring further? Yeah. Will we see him? I don't know. Tough to say, really. 25% chance? I don't know. Probably not. Though at the same time, this is what? Injury report is as of Friday. What happened today? What's going to happen tomorrow when he wakes up? He's probably going to feel a little bit better. So might actually see him for a snap or two, which would be good because, I'm kind of curious to see if he can be the answer to the pass rush thing. You tried Owe, you've tried Njabo. Hasn't worked out too well in the past, though we do see them flash. We do see Owe and Njabo flash every once in a while. It's just consistency, staying on the field and actually being able to get the job done. This is why Isaac was brought in. But again, now he's got to get on the field. Yeah, I mean, injuries are part of it, I guess. Roquan Smith also on this list with a shoulder thing. I feel like he has been wearing a shoulder stint or sleeve or brace for a bit. Several games going back to last year. So I don't know if that really is hindering him at all or not. He was a limited participant Wednesday, though that's not that uncommon for a high caliber player, veteran like he is. But full participant Thursday and Friday. It's apparent that this injury is not going to affect his game status, which is good news. Kyle Van Noy listed as a middle linebacker on here, which, okay. Not that great of the news, though it could have been worse. Suffered an eye injury in that game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kind of odd to describe how it actually happened. But it happened, a fracture of his orbital bone in the eye, on the eye. So I guess that's over here somewhere. Okay. It's odd. It's still odd the way that it happened. But at the same time, did not participate Wednesday or Thursday, limited participant Friday, and is actually listed as questionable, which is about a 50-50% chance. It's interesting that he is actually graded higher in his game status than Isaac. I guess you can pass rush with one eye. Well, you don't want to you don't want it getting hit again. So we'll just have to see. Nate Wiggins also on this list. Fairly limited in the amount of snaps he got. The article over here said he got like 17 snaps or something like that, which isn't terrible. He is a rookie, though you kind of hope your first round draft pick gets in there a little more. Though, as the season progresses and he gains more knowledge and experience, might actually see him in there more, which is a good thing. Bad thing here, he is listed with a neck injury. Nothing seemed to have happened Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday did not participate at all. Game status is listed as out. Let's get to a few of these articles, and we'll talk about a little bit more in depth about these injuries. This article written by Ryan Mink, editorial director. He cites a car accident as to the reason why Wiggins is going to be out. Another car accident, yeah. Josh Ross, who I'm honestly unfamiliar with, but on the practice squad or injury list or something. And Mark Andrews might need to do something about that. I mean, the first month, I guess, really, of the season, going back into training camp, and guys are getting into car accidents. I mean, it can happen. It's not like it makes you a bad person for getting in a car accident. Accidents happen. It's just maybe something the Ravens, as a organization, should maybe look into. Maybe chauffeuring some of their guys around. I don't know. But also, to a certain extent, it does appear, at least reading this article, in my opinion, that Wiggins is going to be okay. It's not hugely serious. I mean, a car accident is serious, but it's not to the point where we'll never see Nate Wiggins again. We're not there yet. It is, to a certain extent, more precautionary and more that, it's football. There's a lot of impact there. If you had some kind of whiplash or neck injury in a car accident, let's say a normal person, you could go about your daily life to a certain extent. If you're a football player, probably not. It's probably, hey, don't play football for a week or two. It's kind of the story with Wiggins. And they mentioned in the article that they said he played 17 snaps and apparently only allowed one catch for 1 yard. So, we'll have to see if we can get him back. Might actually be a good play for us, hopefully. Next article here talking about Kyle Van Noy, written by Ryan Mink and Clifton Brown. Does go in a little bit more detail of how the injury happened. Like the face mask came off the helmet a little bit and kind of wedged in between his helmet and his face. And then he had tackled somebody, and then Matabike jumped on top, and then more pressure, and bam. Like, oh. Ow! That sounds somewhat scary, almost. Because it's your eye. And supposedly, there's an eye ophthalmologist or optometrist? Something. Big fancy eye doctor. Not just like a team doctor, like a big fancy eye doctor. And that is supposedly they're associated more with the location than, let's say, the team. Well, apparently they were on site at Arrowhead Stadium, but didn't get to Kyle Van Noy for at least a quarter. Van Noy mentioned it, and it's like that's unacceptable. Like, what's taking you so long? Oh, I guess if it was a Kansas City guy, and this is more me, I guess, Kansas City player, you would have rushed right over there. It's the opponent, you're taking a while, because Van Noy mentioned that. He's like, what if I'm trying to get back in the game? You're not going to send a doctor to see me for a whole quarter? Okay. Alright. But to be perfectly honest, that sounds about right from everything that I've seen happen in recent years with the Kansas City Chiefs. But I'm kind of an asshole. Because that's why, I'm kind of leaning into this angry Ryno thing. The asshole-ish Ryno doesn't seem to have the same ring to it. Angry Ryno, I think, is a little better. Alright, let's get to the schedule. Talk about this matchup a little bit. Saturday, day before the game, got less than 24 hours now. Game scheduled for September 15th at 1 o'clock p.m. at M&T Bank Stadium. Home opener for the Baltimore Ravens, who are hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think anybody really expects too much out of the Vegas Raiders. They do still have what's a wide receiver? Randall Cobb, right? Devontae Adams, I'm sorry. Devontae Adams. But their organization has undergone some changes, some big changes in the past several years. Moving on from Waller, moving on from Carr, moving on from, oh God, what was that coach's name? Spider 2 XY Banana guy. Ugh. Of course, what do you expect for the team that's based out of Las Vegas? I think it's gone about the way everybody's kind of thought, but all right. Hey, man, I mean, no surprises, sure. They get paid to play football, too. Speaking of people you paid to play football, Derrick Henry was noted his absence in Arrowhead Stadium, especially in the second half. And again, the conversation comes up with the Baltimore Ravens abandoning the running game. They did it again. I mean, they've done it. I mean, how many times have we talked about this organization abandoning the run? Or at least with their running back. Running backs disappearing. It's like we criticize them and, you know, they kind of just say, oh, relax, and then, you know, what happens in playoff games and they're like, what? I mean, you guys can't do this. That's why you lost the game. So they go out there and they rectify it. They bring in Derrick Henry, big giant running back, very good running back. And then your final drive, you need a touchdown to either, let's say, tie with the field goal or you know, go for the win with the 2-point conversion. And Derrick Henry does not see the field at all. Surprising. Certainly kind of understand the logic there. You're trying to throw the ball downfield. But at the same time, you did check the ball off a few times. Excuse me. And really, I mean, the guy is about as big as any pass rusher that's coming at you. Maybe not a defensive tackle like Chris Jones, but an edge person? Oh yeah, Derrick Henry's just as big. Doesn't that sound like a good blocker? Sound like a good blocker at running back? Saw him block a few times at running back in the last game. Looked fairly good at it to me. He's just as big as, like I said, he's just as big as anybody out there. I mean, coming home, it's a home opener here, playing the Raiders. Nobody expects the Ravens to lose to the Raiders, so we better see Derrick Henry a lot. We better. And I know I'm probably in a minority here to say that John Harbaugh is on the hot seat, but if we don't see a good chunk of Derrick Henry in this game, or maybe it's not even about a lot of attempts, it's have a good game. Because at the same time, if you get up big and Henry's got a bunch of yards and a bunch of touchdowns for you, should you even play him in the fourth quarter? Well, I mean, you know, if you're up big, then why, you know? But at the same time, you can't abandon the run game. Again, it's a home opener, man. And Ravens fans want to see Derrick Henry. Look, I mean, you've been teasing us with it for how long now, right? Because, I mean, it's definitely been talked about, right? The Tennessee Titans haven't been good for a while. I feel like at least the past 2 years, when a trade deadline comes up, the Ravens have problems with running backs, as they seem to always do. oh, trade for somebody. Oh, well, Tennessee's not doing anything without Derrick Henry, so maybe they'll be willing to, trade him for something. I feel like we've been getting teased for the past 2 years at the trade deadline. You feel like Derrick Henry in that AFC Championship game last year the outcome would have been different. You never really know, but then fast forward to this year, week 1, and Derrick Henry's on a team, and pretty much the same outcome. Lamar misses a bunch of throws. Ravens lose. That's the problem there. But whatever. Of course, if you use your running back a little bit more, maybe that will open up some passing lanes for Lamar. And he kind of needs those passing lanes to be a little bit more open because he's not that accurate. All right. Try to wrap this up here. Because this is going to do it for this edition of Ryno's Ravens preview. Game tomorrow, Las Vegas Raiders coming into Baltimore. Home opener for the Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium. And we want to see Derrick Henry put on a show. We do. Feel like we've had this quarterback, Lamar Jackson. While he's not the greatest thrower, he is a dynamic player. And you put a man like Derrick Henry in a backfield with him, you should be unstoppable. But you do have to get going first. So, get going. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I am the Angry Ryno. Fly Ravens, fly.